Hey everybody, this is Grace, and I have been trying to do videos, and my camera mount keeps giving me problems, so pardon it if it jumps around and all that. But anyway, this video I want to talk about one of my recurring dreams. I wrote out a bunch of them, little highlights of them to make videos. And this one, so I'm going to start with this one. This one is something, why it's on my mind is because I had this one recently. And I know how I used to see it. It's a recurring dream. It's happened since I was very young, and I'm no longer very young. So many years I've been having it, and what I thought was a purpose back then is not so much what I feel now. Okay. Now the one that I had recently, rather recently, I think earlier this month, but it was about, it's always the same thing, not the same place, not the same people, but very similar. It's always about elevators. When I was a kid, me and one of my sisters we were young, we were real young. We were at the hospital, I don't even know who we were visiting, and we went and played on elevators. It was like we had never seen them before. And she's like a year and a half older than I, or a little over a year older than I. And we got in the elevator together, and we'd always heard, don't go to the 4th floor, the 5th floor, whatever it is. It was where all the crazy people were, that's many years ago. And they had padded walls and stuff like that, We didn't know what any of that meant. Well, we got in the elevator, and my sister kept pushing the buttons. And you can imagine, long ago, what happened. Yeah, the elevator got stuck. And I avoid elevators since then. I tried to avoid them, but I have had so many instances when elevators got stuck. I was living in a dorm one year, and we were on the 17th or 18th floor, and me and my dorm mate and another woman who hung around with us, she was in her 50s back then. And anyway, we all got stuck together on an elevator that just stuck on like the 17th floor, wouldn't open up, wouldn't let us out. Can you imagine? We were scared. I think all the bells and whistles went off, and the door did open, and we had to walk all the way down, or where, I don't remember. I think I'm mixing two stories together. I think one time we had to walk up 17 flights. Eventually, the one that stuck, we got out of it. Of course, or I wouldn't be here talking to you. Anyway. Got my lunch. I think I should eat. Maybe I'll make more sense. I don't know. But it's 2 o'clock. It's 2:04 right now, and I haven't eaten lunch. So yeah. Another situation with elevators. Like I said, I had a history of this. One of them was I was working in a job, and I just started working there, and I don't know what floor it was on, but I didn't know at the time. I didn't know that I had allergies, and I think somebody was wearing perfume or whatever it was, and I got sick. But as it turned out, when I did make it to the doctor, they said I had pneumonia. And but anyway, in between those, I was at that job, and then I just couldn't handle anymore. I was just coughing and sneezing so much and everything, and I thought I was really sick, which I was. It turned out to be pneumonia. But I left from there, and I was in the elevator. And here I was, all by myself, just sick as can be. And the elevator went crazy. It was going up and down and up and down. I think I was on like the 4th floor or something. Would not stop at all. I think I couldn't call somebody, and finally I could call somebody, and it was all messed up. And finally they rescued me, but it kept going up and down for the longest. And I have panic disorder as it is, or I did. Back then, and yeah, it was like, can you imagine pneumonia, runaway elevator, and panic disorder, and being all by yourself? I wouldn't say I'm claustrophobic, but yeah, that was bad. Anyway, I don't have the best of luck with the elevators, and so when I have this dream, it's really more like a nightmare, this recurring nightmare about elevators. It's usually something like I'm on this elevator, and usually it's just the bottom floor of the elevator on strings, or they can be on wires, but it can sway back and forth and it's more like a pulley kind of situation, you know. But these are considered the elevators, and it's usually a really tall building. Um, in this dream nightmare, recurring one, like I said, and sometimes it's an elevator, but not really. Sometimes it has walls. Most often it doesn't. Just like I said, more like a pulley, but it's supposed to be. Sometimes it'll go down to the bottom floor or the basement, and once it gets to the basement, once a regular elevator, once people get off, like something malfunctioned, got us off there, then we were having to go on these pulleys to get back up there. It makes no sense, right? Yeah, because, if we got down there on an elevator, we should be able to get back up, but no, that's not how it would work. And so it would be really, you could say that you're on really shaky ground. If I wanted to interpret it that way, yeah, it could be. But it's often, or sometimes, like, I'm on one of those, something happens, the walls disappear, and I have to jump from the platform, to a real one, or get off and get on an actual, functioning elevator. And usually they're really tall buildings, really, really tall. I remember one of them I worked at one time before. It was, you had to get on one elevator to go to like the 36th floor, and then you get on that one elevator, or 30-something floor. Then you got off of that one and got on another one to go even higher. I don't see how in the world I had did that. I don't even know if I did. I think I worked on one of the lower floors, but even now I cannot see myself getting on one that's probably over 2 or 3 floors. I just I haven't had any reason to get on the elevator in who knows how long. Okay, and another thing in these is kind of like in this recurring nightmare, really, is I'm not really. It's kind of like I'm somewhat panicking, yet at the same time not. It's like, I guess because I'm the dreamer, I'm seeing it as, yeah, but you'll get off, off of that platform at some point and be back on a regular elevator. You can get out of there. You don't have to continue, seeing it more from like an outsider's perspective, view, seeing inside, and But anyway, I can interpret it many ways of what it means, but I need to, this one, I really don't think enough about when I have it. I don't think about, well, what's going on? Is it a similar pattern to the other ones? Yeah, some of them I do, and it's always the same kind of thing for each one of them. Anyway, like I said, this is just the first one of several recurring dreams I have, nightmares, and I want to get more back into thinking about it. When I was young, when I was a kid, that same sister, I would talk about my dreams or my nightmares or whatever when we were kids now, and she hated it. I think maybe she just didn't dream. I've known people who do not dream or cannot remember them. They say that they've never had dreams. From what I remember back from many years ago, was in order to remember your dream, you had to wake up in the middle of it, or at some point in it, and then that was when the dream was over, and then you remember, or a certain part of the cycle, something. But who knows? Things change over time on what is belief, and different people believe different things. I'm one of those, to each their own and how they see it. I do remember I did some videos years ago about my dreams and stuff like that, and some people would come back and say, you don't know anything about dreams. Really? And I guess you're the expert, huh? But I'm more of a type of, hey, however somebody wants to see their own dream, or if people want to say how they would see it, fine. But to tell somebody you don't know anything about dreams, because, of course, that it was a man, he only knew everything there was about dreams. No, not so much. Block, delete. That's how I handle that. But anyway, if you have a dream, or a recurring dream, or recurring nightmare, you want to talk about, leave a comment below. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Talk to you on another video.